Hi everyone, hope you're all doing great. In this video, I'm going to be exploring a concept that has intrigued me for some time now. I've been watching shows on this on Netflix, and I also follow YouTube channels that talk about this concept, and that is a tiny house, tiny home living. I really want to know, a tiny house, can it be functional enough for a family to live there on a more permanent basis? How does it really feel to be inside one? So when I found a tiny house, actually a shipping container that has been converted into a tiny house in Singapore, I did not want to pass up the opportunity to come check it out myself and show you guys as well. So let's take a look. As you can see, I'm outside the doors of this pretty massive shipping container, 9 feet and 6 inches in height to be precise. Now we've seen a lot of this in Singapore with it being a very important trading hub. We've seen them stacked on ships, but being up close and personal with one, and that too one that has been converted into a tiny home, is a rather unique experience. Let's go around to see the entrance into this tiny house and the outdoor deck area, which for such a small house is pretty luxurious. I'm currently on this rather large and luxurious outdoor deck of the tiny house. Now the tiny house is inside this shipping container which sits on concrete blocks. There are many kinds of foundation for such tiny homes. Here it's kept flexible because this can actually be moved. In fact, this has recently been moved to this particular address here in Singapore. Now the outdoor deck area has been created as a raised platform and provides a lot more space than the container itself can. The outdoor deck area is spacious enough to host a dining table and 4 chairs for outdoor dining, a high table with 2 chairs, and even a lounge at the other end. The facade of the shipping container sports nature-inspired decals that help it merge better with the surrounding and also helps give it a nicer, softer feeling, make it look better than what is essentially just a large blue box. We're at the main entrance of the tiny house, and as with everything else about this place, space is the most important aspect. So in order to create as much of space and as little visual clutter as possible, they have these sliding doors. Now these doors are quite large in terms of the width, and they slide all the way, which actually also kind of increases the visual space because it also brings in the deck space to make it look more like a part of the entire living area. I'm inside the tiny house, and the floor plan basically is a linear pattern, of course. Going from the extreme right to the extreme left, they've utilized every smallest centimeter of this container space. So the door you see here leads into the bathroom. There's only one bathroom and it's a good sized one. But before we get in there, let's look at the other aspects of the home, starting with this small kitchen. Now several apartments and condos here in Singapore have a kitchen that's only this size. So for a container house, for a tiny house, this is a really good size, and it's entirely functional. There's built-in storage from the floor to the ceiling, and it also hides some very important appliances in an aesthetic manner. There is the freezer section, a refrigerator that can hold quite a bit of stuff. There's of course an induction stove and a little hob. There's a small sink and the microwave as well, and everything else is storage. Moving from the kitchen area, we come to this small dining section, and here they've kept 2 tables with 4 chairs. Now these tables are kept as individual tables for 2-seaters, which means you can move these tables around if you want more space. Of course, this entire setup can be moved out into the deck, or you can use one of the tables to help with the cooking aspect, because we don't have too much of countertop for cutting and other such activities. Now once again, this is an Airbnb, but I'm talking about if it were to be used as a longer term sort of home. So I think it's quite flexible. There's a lot of interesting design aspects that can be done. One more aspect that I love here is the way they've given a pendant lighting, but this is so sleek and thin, so it really reduces the visual clutter, but it adds a very nice ambience. And they also have a small floating shelf here, so you can add some decor knickknacks and of course have a more homey feel. Leading in from the kitchen and of course the dining section, we have a small living section here. And the awesome part about this living section is that not only it has a pretty cool couch, but this doubles up as a bed as well, which means more than 2 adults can comfortably sleep here. In fact, with this setup, you can have up to 4 adults and maybe 1 child comfortably sleep in here. So by Airbnb standards, once again, it's good, but even for a more longer term house concept, this is pretty cool. The living section of course has a TV, and while I'm not very happy with the space between the couch and watching such a large TV, they seem to have thought of that as well, because this TV can be moved, and if I wanted to watch it from the dining section, which I feel distance wise is a little more appropriate, I'll be able to do that as well. As much as I'd like to continue watching this episode of Friends, I think it's time to show you guys the bedroom. And this is the main bedroom space. Now once again, like we saw in the living section, this bed also can be folded away into the wall, and it looks like it's part of the rest of the cabinet space. In fact, even the air conditioner is built into the cabinets to make it look more aesthetically pleasing and seamless. And again, we have from the floor to ceiling storage option, so it's a very functional space. In fact, if you were to look at living in a tiny house for a longer period of time than like in an Airbnb, then it's great to be able to fold away this furniture that you don't use except for at night and create a floor space which is usable in many other ways, like let's say for children to have the floor space to play. But what I love most about this room and this whole container house is the way it opens out into the outdoor space. It kind of blurs the lines between what's really outside and inside, creating a feeling of more spaciousness and lightness. And here we have the doors leading out to the external doors of the container that we saw when we first started out this video. And it's such a beautiful view to wake up to in the morning. One long box and so many possibilities. There's only one space left to show you guys, and that's the bathroom, which is right at the other end. So let's take a look. At the opposite end from the bedroom is the bathroom. It's a little dark in there, but I'm going to try my best to show you how well it's been designed. The bathroom resembles any regular sized one you'll find in a house or a condo, and is quite spacious by tiny house standards and comes with all the necessary facilities and of course plenty of storage. I hope this video gave you some insights into tiny house living. With creative design solutions, even the smallest of spaces can be converted into aesthetic as well as functional homes. So be it if you desire to own a tiny house someday or choose to live in a small home, less space need not be the reason for less joy. As always, thank you for watching and have a great day.